wonderful forum, and I really enjoyed the opportunity just to meet other people that are doing similar work in education, but also in a lot of other sectors and fields. And I think it's really inspiring just to think about how people are taking new ideas in a variety of areas and really making a huge difference.
A lot of us have been in the field a long time, and there's a lot of experience accumulated. And we were all working more or less in our own country. And although, of course, we had met and, of course, we had worked together, but we really had not structured something. We really had not come together to think together, to exchange, and to look at it on the long run, really long-term collaboration. There had been networks, and there are many other networks, but this one we've really sort of trying to do it systematically, getting together, comparing, sharing our experience.
Most of scientists that work in the issue found that the tipping point is something between 30-40% of deforestation. If really deforestation approach 30%, then we go into an irreversible process to be a large savanna. And we already have at least 15% of the area.
The one thing that the British government, so they kind of went down that route, and that served a whole load of purposes in terms of innovation in public services, outsourcing to new structures. But who was populating this with innovative ideas? And of course, the thing they missed was that this is all about people. It's also about reaching into poor communities. And as we all know, because we're in the business of social change happens when you give power to people who understand the problem.
I live in a virtual world, and for the first time I have a chance to meet the social entrepreneurs who are part of the community face to face, and it's very intriguing.
One of the people, I think, in the early sessions promoted the idea of how do we help Haiti. It turns out I was involved with an NGO that was developing solar fuel stoves for Nepal, where they've chopped down all trees. There's no trees left in Haiti because of the earthquake and the tornado, so I can go and help him let him know how we solve that problem in high altitude Nepal. Completely different context, completely out of the blue, but it's a connection that would have otherwise never been made.
I'm constantly asked who's the most progressive company on climate change, and business leaders are surprised when I say Walmart. Now, my view is if all the carbon-intensive corporations simply did what Walmart is doing unilaterally, nothing to do with regulatory process, we probably wouldn't even need protocol.
Walmart called me several years ago and said, would you advise us? And I said, no, thanks. And finally he called back and said, okay, come down to Bentonville. So I went down to Bentonville, met Lee, and he turned around to me and said, write the speech I should give. Forget what everyone else says. So I did. And that's the speech where they commit to 100% renewable energy, zero waste, 100% sustainable supply chain, a rise in the minimum wage. I just put all those things in the speech.
A lot of people in corporations who probably not care about communication and marketing or PR or something in their public affairs, they now are kind of ambassadors in the social media space. And it's not only one person, the press manager who's talking to the media, it's like everybody.
I have my cell phone number visible if you're a Facebook friend of mine. And my personal policy has been to accept anyone who is a worker at Samasource as a Facebook friend, because I encourage them when I go out and meet them to stay in touch with us. It's ultimately maybe not scalable if we get to 10,000 people to have 10,000 people with my cell phone number texting me, but actually I think it's been really incredible for me to see what our workers are doing in the field.
One of the main aims of her blog isn't just to connect to other Saudi women, but to show, because I'm always asked when I speak on campuses, especially in the US, why should I care about Saudi women? What are they doing to help themselves? You know, and there's all these stereotypes of Muslim women. But here is a Muslim woman showing that other Muslim women are fighting for their rights and trying to connect and create this network for other Muslim women to see how they can use the internet and spread the message out further. I assign this website to my students when I teach about how women use new media. And when they interviewed me, anonymously, but I know who they are, so I trust them. They said we exist because of the internet. We exist online.
The reason why social media works well is because it's just that. It's just in time. It's being able to pull the people together when you need them, but not having to maintain them as staff and maintain them. And so if you're thinking about it from a social entrepreneur's perspective, it's having fewer full-time equivalents on your payroll, but having a lot more volunteers and not having to maintain them all on an ongoing basis, but pull them in as you need them.
Disability is the one thing that we're still kind of scared about. So what has this disability thing got to do with me? So we're going to try this. I'm going to stand here. I'm blind. I'm legally blind. A term that I have to tell you, I didn't want to have for a very long time. I can see to my hand. Every man in this room, and I have no idea how many men you are all George Clooney. All of you. The only thing that makes us the same is that we're different. All of us are different. And we all have things that are tough in our life.
I had this desire to build this fantastic place in a clay pit because I wanted to regenerate the middle of Cornwall with a gang of people. And I started talking about it, and people started leaving their jobs. And at a certain point, I had 100 people had given up their jobs and were helping me develop this idea called the Eden Project. And what happened next was very weird. I lead my life by 3 rules. Number 1 is the telling of future truths, which is, other people call it lying. But what it means is that you create the fuel of change by saying something so outrageous in your ambitions amongst people you respect so much that not to do it will shame you.
I'll say Skoll.org and you say Bolo, which means everyone in Skoll must speak up. Skoll.org!
To fight injustice.
Bolo!
Let's hear the men. Bolo! And women now?
Bolo!
Much louder.
Come on,